Good morning, good morning, good morning. And as I like to say, it's a plum pleasing pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for joining us here with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on WMPR 90.1 FM, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi. And again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor, your health evangelist, bringing you some good news from Right Stuff. That's right, Right Stuff. The Right Stuff Helps broadcast. And I always like to tell you that the reason I say the right stuff is simply because you spent most of your life, most of us did. We ate the wrong stuff. We drank the wrong stuff. We looked at the wrong stuff. We listened to the wrong stuff. We just plain old did the wrong stuff. So isn't it about time, I'm saying that it is about time that you got your hands on the right stuff. And that's what we bring you today from our radio program. So today we're going to talk about something. If we had to have a title, and I like titles, catchy titles. This one, we would call it Disease Yo Mama. How about that? You all know back in the day when they played dozens, if you talked about somebody's mama, it was serious. It was on, okay? So that's what we're doing. This is serious. So we're talking about disease, all these diseases that we have, non-communicable, communicable, contagious, okay, all these different diseases. And but they had to have a mama. Did you know that? They had to come from somewhere. So I'm saying disease, yo mama. Okay, it's serious. All right, so let's just take a look at something. If there's a mama, then there's got to be a daddy. All right, so what then would if we're looking at the family called disease, and we've kind of talked about some of these before, but we're going to put it in perspective today. Disease, yo mama. Okay. The father of disease there has to be a daddy, right? So let's talk about it. The father of disease is something that we call indigestion. Indigestion, they have another name for it. They call it dyspepsia. Okay. I took us a little drink of water there. They even call it acid reflux. Okay. They've got another name for it, GERDs. And there are many, many other names. You probably know most of them. But there are trillions, well, at least billions of dollars worth of antacids being sold to people with this upset stomach, this acid reflux, as we'll call it, dyspepsia, GERDs, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's saying, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But again, indigestion is a painful condition, okay? It just simply means that your digestion is impaired. In other words, no digestion. It causes persistent or recurrent pain. I mean, there's a lot of pain. You hear people always talking about the the bloating and the burping and the indigestion. Gas can get so bad and so painful that people actually think they're having a heart attack. Many a person has gone to the emergency room, believing that they're having a heart attack, laid out, chest hurting on the left side, the right side, in the middle, up by the shoulder, down near the belly button. I mean, they're just in pain. And they think that it has to be a heart attack because their chest feels like it's going to explode. And it's just indigestion, just acid reflux, folks. Are you listening to what I'm saying? We're talking about the father of disease, where disease starts. It starts with the fact that God designed your body to take in foods and to break those foods down so that they're usable. They actually ferment. The acid breaks them down into small pieces, and then they become like liquid. And what do? They're absorbed into the system, and they're used to go to the parts of the body where they need to go. If they're vitamins, they go here. If they're minerals, they go here. They turn this food into metabolites, and the metabolites help to give your body energy. You've heard of metabolism. I have a slow rate of metabolism. Well, that means that you're not getting the food. you're not getting the nutritional value from the food. So that's not something to brag about. That's a problem, folks. So the bottom line is you got this nutritional situation going into the body, absorbing it. And when that happens, then the body can do everything it needs to do. All of your bones and your muscles, your joints, your brain, okay, your kidney, your liver, your bladder, all the organs are doing what they were designed by God to do. We call this homeostasis, okay? That's a pH balance of 7.5 in the body. What went in was used, the waste comes out, and the body is just circulating like a machine, a well-oiled machine. That's what's supposed to happen. But when the food does not digest, listen to me carefully, when it does not digest, when you have indigestion or acid reflux or dyspepsia or GERDs, now we've got a problem. Because here's the deal. Over 3 million people a year have acid indigestion, acid reflux, no digestion, indigestion. That's right. 3 million people a year. And again, it causes, like I said, a persistent or recurrent pain or discomfort in the lower abdomen, in the middle of the abdomen, in the upper abdomen, in the chest, the back, the neck. These pains can be anywhere. And again, it's very common because almost 3 million people annually have this indigestion. And it can be dangerous, even life-threatening if untreated. That's right. It is such an urgent medical situation that often people end up in the emergency room in severe cases or chronic cases. They end up getting a medical, emergency medical treatment in order to save their lives in some cases, because it's just that bad. It can actually be death, life-threatening. It can even cause death. And one of the main causative factors, I'm going to throw this one in right now, get it out of the way: fatty, greasy foods, mainly meat. Y'all listen to me. But we're going to tell you some more things that cause it so that you can get it under control. We're not going to do like the system does and tells you what it is you have. They don't give you a clue about what you can do to make it better. All you can do, as far as they're telling you, is get some more meds and some more drugs and let that work for you. I'm going to take us another drink. Again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me this morning on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. We come to you every Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock here on WMPR 90.1 FM out of Jackson, Mississippi, bringing you the right stuff. This morning, our title is Disease Yo Mama. Okay, we got to go to work on this thing, folks, called disease. And it can be treated, if you hear what I'm saying. It can be dealt with, and you have to do the dealing. All right. So now let's just take a peek. Again, when people have indigestion, GERDs, or whatever we're going to call dyspepsia, there's something that they always fall on. Okay, if you ask individuals, how do you spell relief? What do they say? ROLAIDS, Rolaids. That's right. That's right. I tell you, once upon a time, I went to a second grade class. I was doing a little in-service there, speaking to them and motivating them. And in this class, there were second graders. And so I said, I want to see something, because I was talking about health. I showed them how to make a little smoothie and told them about drinking their water and eating their vegetables. And I had made a little salad dressing. So we had some little bitty bowls of salad, real little small bowls, okay, and little portion cups. And we had a little salad in there, and I put a little this salad dressing on there. And they just loved it, man. I don't know, when they were just eating up the tomatoes and the little lettuce and so forth. They were just eating it up. They loved it because the salad dressing tastes good. But then I said, you know, if your food doesn't digest, your stomach gets that burp, 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 burp. And I was making all these little noises, and they were just laughing. I said, now I'm going to ask you all a question. And whoever answers this question the fastest, I'm going to give you $1. And I said, how do you spell relief? And guess what? Most of them said ROLAIDS. These were young children, 7, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. And they literally knew that you spell relief, Rolaids, Rolaids. They already knew that this chemical, this medicine was what was needed when your stomach was upset. We're going to tell you before we leave today what you can do to keep it from coming instead of having to go buy all of those meds that you become addicted to, okay? So what is Rolaids? What is Rolaids? It's it's called calcium carbonate magnesium hydroxide. Ooh, we got a lot of chemicals in there, folks. It's supposed to be for diarrhea, for constipation, for upset stomach. It's used, again, to treat indigestion, upset stomach, heartburn, as they call it, okay? But here are some of the things that they tell you about it. They say you should not use this medicine if you've ever had an allergy, or if you've had an allergic reaction to an antacid. You shouldn't use this, okay? You shouldn't use Rolaids or any other antacid, until you ask your doctor or your pharmacist if it is safe for you, simply or definitely if you have had kidney disease. That's interesting. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, of course, they say you shouldn't do it, and that makes sense. But if you should have it, they say you should get immediate emergency medical help if signs of an allergic reaction, hives, difficulty breathing, swelling of the face or the lips or of the throat. So now you're telling me that this, which is supposed to help me with my indigestion, could cause me to have swelling of my face and lips. My tongue or my throat could swell, close up where I can't breathe, cause difficulty in breathing, allergic reactions, hives breaking out on the skin, just by taking something that's supposed to help me with the bloating and the burping and the griping and the pain that comes with it. Man, that sound is getting deeper and deeper, folks. And then it says, stop using, call the doctor immediately if symptoms of high calcium or magnesium levels in the blood should appear. If there's nausea, vomiting, or constipation. Whoa, wait a minute. I thought I was taking it because I might have had a little nausea, a little upset feeling in the stomach, pain and discomfort. Now it says that it can cause that same thing. It can cause vomiting. It can even cause constipation. Don't forget that, folks. The people, the powers to be, are actually telling us that you can use these antacids and they will cause you to become constipated. They will increase your thirst and all of that urinating situation where you're going constantly back and forth to the bathroom. They'll cause muscle weakness and joint and bone pain. Cause confusion, weakness, tired feeling. In other words, the brain becomes confused. Are you listening to me? Taking Rolaids, folks, or whichever one you're taking. Tums, they got all these different names. You can have trouble breathing. I hope you all are listening. Trouble breathing. We're talking about an antacid over-the-counter recipe, okay, remedy that you can get if you're having what? Problems with gas, reflux, food trying to come back up, feeling a nauseated situation, the pains that come with it. If you're having those and you take these antacids, you can actually end up with trouble breathing, slow heart rate. Wow. Feeling lightheaded. In other words, you're not feeling good. You're feeling dizzy, disoriented in your brain. Taking Rolaids, folks. And I didn't make this up. This came from the WHO, the World Health Organization, the top health organization or institution in the world. And they say that it literally can cause some serious problems. And if you should have any of these, it says you need to report your side effects to the FDA. I don't know if y'all hear what I'm saying. They're saying you need to tell us what's going on with this. And they give you the number on the packet, 1-800-FDA-1088. They put the number on there letting you know this is death threatening. This is a bad boy here. Okay. And so Having problems? Call us. We'll help you. Don't fuss, don't cuss. Call us. We'll help you. Shakespeare. Okay, folks, I like for us to smile, laugh a little bit, but it's a serious situation when we're talking about something that's supposed to help you, that can actually cause you to be in worse shape, if you hear what I'm saying. So we're talking about the father of all disease is who? It's indigestion. So now we want to get ready to step into something, but as we step into the mother and see who she is, we need to remember that this indigestion does something. When all this food that did not digest, remember now, this is indigestion. If this food doesn't digest, where does it go? It goes back into the body and it is reabsorbed into the system, and it causes a problem called inflammation. Inflammation is that reddening, that soreness, in different parts of the body. It could be on the skin, it could be on the mucous membranes, but wherever it is, there's a painful reddening, swelling, because the body is irritated. And when this acid and these poisons and toxic mess, this rotted, morbid, putrid material is being reabsorbed into the tissues, they become inflamed. They become sore. Inflammation and infection sets up. And wherever it is in the body, we have problems. So we found out that these NCDs, which are non-communicable diseases, listen to me carefully, the non-communicable diseases that we have basically come from, guess where? The inflammation that comes and follows indigestion. We're about to get to the mother of disease, but we really had to look at that father first, because you got diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, cancer, respiratory lung diseases, diabetes, that all start with this inflammation buildup. And then that gives us, again, that leads us to the mother. That leads us to the mother. Who is the mother of all disease? Who is it that I'm saying disease? I'm saying, yo, mama, guess who she is? She's constipation. What did I say? Constipation. You see, to become constipated, you first got to have the daddy, because constipation is the mama. So you got to have the daddy now, because the daddy sets it up, right? He starts the action by causing this food to come back up and to not be absorbed into the body. And so, I'm sorry, to not be absorbed and go through into the body. Instead, it's reabsorbed through the tissues in the form of poisons and toxic waste in the body. And it starts setting up infection. And when this food doesn't move through the body, the excess that can't be absorbed, where does it go? It stays blocked and stopped in your colon. And that is called constipation. So that's where the mother comes in. She is something, man. We can say in some instances, we say that she is called infrequent bowel movements. Okay, that's what some folks would say. The bowels just don't move the way they should. They're hard to pass. You're sitting there, you're straining. And if anything at all comes out, little balls come out that hurt, that are so painful, you feel like you're splitting open, okay, in the rear, trying to get this out. Again, we're going to talk about what causes it, but it started with indigestion. It started with the food not being digested, broken down, and assimilated into the system and used the way God wanted to be. Instead, it does what? It goes into the system the wrong way. It's reabsorbed slowly because it can't go through the body. And all the mass of residue, all that bulk is now blocked and stopped up in the colon. It becomes what we call impacted. And now the bowels are moving slow or not moving at all. You may even have to go and get something to help them to move. That's something that we got to look at, folks. We got to look at that. Okay, excuse me just a second there, people. But again, we're talking about the bowels actually being reabsorbed into the system. reabsorbed into the system, the bowels. We're not talking food now. We're talking about rotted, putrefied matter being reabsorbed into the system. And now it's starting to make us sick. We're talking about the mother coming up to 4 now. She's ready to deliver, and she's being pumped up with all this waste. Those bowels are actually stopped up. They're not moving. And you're having all this gas passing, all this bloating, all this pain. Bowels just won't move. Or if they move slowly, or they don't move at all. So again, impaction. That means the bowels are packed up. They're just packed up. You might have 10, 15, 20, 30 days worth. Let me give you an idea. Let's just say you eat 3 times a day. Better still, I'll give you two meals a day and 1 bowel movement a day. Let me ask you a question. What happens if you just have 1 bowel movement? Where's the other one? It's still in you. If it's still in you, how many is that in 7 days in a week? That's 7. How about in a month? That's 30 meals. How about in a year? That's 365 meals packed into your body. Little pieces coming out, the rest there. Elvis Presley, when he died, they said he had between 75 to 100 pounds of waste in his stomach. That's right. He died, and when they cut him open, his colon was full of solid waste. And are y'all listening to me? So that means that a good deal of what you're looking at, when you look at the tum-tum and you call them love handles and you say, I just got this baby fat, that's not fat, folks. That is do. Let's get that out of the way. That is do. There may be a small layer of fat running over the top of your abdomen, over the top of your stomach. But inside, you've got 20 some odd feet of small intestine, 8, 9 feet of large intestine. You've got almost 30 feet of intestine full of doo-doo. Are you listening to me? You're full of it. I mean that in a nice way, but most of you are not sick. You're just full of it. If you were to empty those bowels, you'd watch some of those problems begin to go away. But what are some of the things that come from this constipation? Well, hemorrhoids. You heard them, they call them piles. That means you can't go, and you're pushing and straining so hard that you're pushing some of your anus out, the inside out into the actual hanging down from your behind. Folks, this has been a serious problem. When I was a little boy, I heard old folks talking about the piles. And that was basically because they weren't eating right. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But the bottom line is it can cause hemorrhoids. It can cause anal fissures, large things that are pushed out and growing on the outside of your rectum, folks. And there are a lot of people walking around. You can't tell it, but there are a lot of people out there, maybe 30, 40% of the people walking around with this kind of situation going, because most people are constipated at some time during their life. And over half of the people are chronically constipated. It's acutely, it happens all the time, okay? And they live with it and think that's something that you got to have. But again, our dear friend Elvis Presley, and I mean, I got no problem with the guy, baby, let me be your little teddy bear. I mean, everybody liked his singing, okay, and his wild way of dancing. I think he just had been around a whole lot of folks with soul, okay? But the key is, you notice during his later years, his stomach was huge. He was really a slim little guy, but his stomach was huge. And so again, 75 to 100 pounds of waste, impacted waste in his belly. And guess where it started? It started with the father, indigestion. And over a period of time, the mother stepped onto the scene, and she was called constipation. And then she gave mother to all the diseases that we see out here now. Diseases such as hypothyroidism, diabetes, high blood pressure. Listen to what I'm saying. If this waste is being reabsorbed into the tissues and it gets on the pancreas, then the pancreas starts having a problem secreting its insulin. And so it starts setting you up. One of the causative factors of diabetes is, guess what? Constipation. High blood pressure. When the bowels can't move like they're supposed to, they put pressure on the bloodstream. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So what do? You start getting high blood pressure. Most of you with high blood pressure, if you see your pressure really spiking, stop to think if you've been to the bathroom that day. Oh my goodness, or in the last day or so. And if you could get a good bowel movement, I promise you, I guarantee that your pressure will go down several points. Why? Simply because when you're constipated, it's going to cause a rise in blood pressure. Things like Parkinson's disease, because we're talking about blood diseases where blood's not flowing like it's supposed to. So things like Parkinson's, little strokes, aneurysms, heart attacks, all these heart situations where the blood's not flowing. So you get tremors, you get cramps, you get all these things because the blood is not flowing. Leviticus 17:11 tells us that the life of the flesh is in the blood. So we're looking at where these diseases come from. They were spawned, okay, by indigestion, the father, but they were delivered by who? The mother, who was constipation, who is constipation. So again, even things like celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity. We've got a lot of folks with their gluten sensitivity thing, and so they're buying these gluten-free foods, which are really, there's no value to the food. All of the protein minerals have been taken out. That's the gluten, which was meant to be in there. It's the gluten that causes the bull to be so big and so strong without eating hamburger. Y'all listen to what I'm saying? It's this protein. It's the natural protein that the body can use and use freely. People like celiacs, 1% of them on the planet can't. But 60 or 70% of you who are out there trying to eat gluten-free and don't have an idea of what gluten is, you're just doing what the world says do. You're just going along with the program. Folks, you need to know what's really going on. Your body can withstand gluten if you do some things, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. It has to do with your the way you put things together. All right, it actually has to do with your combinations in eating your food, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I'm Dr. Frank O. Taylor. You're here with me on the WMPR 90.1 FM, and we're the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. We're talking about the right stuff. This morning we're talking about the mother of disease. We talked about the father who was indigestion, but now we're talking about the mother who is constipation. If you look at most people in the hospital sick with disease, down in the bed, no matter what it is that they've got, if you were to ask them, when was the last time you had a bowel movement, or ask their loved one, when was the last time your loved one had a bowel movement, in most cases, they wouldn't be able to tell you. And if you ask the person if they can talk, they would probably say, well, it's been a day or two or three or a week. Why is that? Because in a lot of cases, the constipation had something to do with the disease, but definitely once the disease is there, there's going to be even more lack of bowel movement. There's going to be even more constipation. So again, all these different diseases, diverticulitis, inflammatory bowel disease, even colon cancer, and etc. And the beat goes on. I mean, it's just on and on and on and on. Diseases that are spawned from a stopped up colon, from constipation, the mother of all disease. So again, I'm saying disease, we're calling you down on the carpet, and we're talking about your mama, constipation. That's right, your mama. Hope y'all listen to me. I'm Dr. Frank O. Taylor. Again, you're here with me on the Right Stuff Health Radio broadcast, and we're talking about the mother of all disease, constipation. Folks, think about it. Think about it. Disease basically is an abnormal situation. Tumors and growths and even pimples and things like that, fibroids, all these things are abnormal growths. That means that they have to eat something abnormal. So what are they eating? What are they eating? They are eating the wastes that should be coming out of the body. This morbid material is now being reabsorbed into the tissues, okay? And so the tissues are not feeding on waste. The cells of the body are feeding on waste, and so it sets up problems. Also, remember this, when those bowels are impacted inside of your stomach, they're just puffed all out. The colon's puffed all out with all this stuff, okay? It's pressing down on your prostate, men. It's pressing down on your uterus and your ovaries, sisters. Are y'all listening to me? It is a powerful piece to know that you've got all of these vital organs inside of your abdomen, and this waste is pressing up against it. It pushes over against the kidneys, bladder, yeast, ovarian type infections. It presses over on the prostate. You have problems urinating, prostatic swelling, inflammation and prostatitis. Are y'all getting what I'm saying? Presses over on the liver, and you get problems with the liver. It's pressing up against the heart, problems with the, are y'all getting what I'm saying? All of this waste is doing a physical pressure against your organs, setting up sickness and disease, and then being reabsorbed into the system. It's actually doing an internal, or you might say a blood line of poisoning. You're just being poisoned, period, by this food that should be out of your body. We're talking about the mother of diseases. We're talking about constipation. So now let's just talk about a little bit about this mother who causes all these diseases. And again, we were saying that she causes this inflammation. This inflammation leads to even more problems in the system, and these diseases come about. Most of the NCDs, or the non-communicable diseases, come from this problem: bad eating. The body backs up with all this stuff, and disease comes from that. And we find that you've got, probably out of the 10 top diseases, the top 4 are non-communicable, set up by the inflammation, by the indigestion, and by the constipation. You got cardiovascular disease, 17.9 million people with that. Cancer, 9.3 million people. Respiratory lung diseases, 4.1. You know that's a problem right about now because of the COVID situation. Diabetes, 1.5 million. You've got these sicknesses. Stop and think about what I'm saying. And I guarantee that most of you are not having bowel movements like you should. How many should you have? Well, how many meals a day are you eating? If you're eating 3 meals a day, you should have at least 3 bowel movements. 2 meals a day, at least 2. What goes in has to come out. If it doesn't come out, it's going to stay inside. It's going to be reabsorbed into the system, and you're doing what we call auto toxication. You're actually killing yourself. It's unassisted suicide, folks. So we got to look at it. We're going to start talking to you in just a few minutes about what you can do to stop this, to prevent it, and if you should get it, what you can do. Okay, I took us another little drink of water there. So we're talking about the mother of disease. What are some of the causes that we can look at? The lack of fiber. The lack of fiber. What is fiber? Fiber is the fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables that God told us to eat in the beginning. It's the basic diet. It's the best diet. In my little pamphlet called The Bible Way to Health, and the dissertation that I do from that, we talk about the BIBLEWAY, Bible Way. And each one of those letters is a part of an acronym. And that acronym is simply prescriptions from the great physician. The best food in combination starts it off. And that's primary because that's the most important thing. Because we're finding that food and eating it the wrong way, eating the wrong food, so forth and so on, is causing indigestion, causing constipation, and therefore leading to all these diseases. Lack of water. You don't drink enough water, and what happens? The bowels don't bulk up, and so they become dried out, and what happens? They don't move. They become hard, rock hard, and they can't move through the body the way they're supposed to, and again, you become constipated. Constipation long enough leads to these various diseases in the body. Something else that we don't do, again, we see not enough water, but we don't get enough exercise. And again, that's one of the letters in the Bible Way acronym, prescriptions from the great physician, and that is exercise daily. B, I, intake of water. B, being temperate. L, lots of rest and sleep. E, exercise daily. How do we know we need exercise? Well, when God created man in the beginning, he was perfect. He was going to live forever. But in Genesis, God placed man in the Garden of Eden to do what? Dress it and to keep it. So when God created this perfect man, he created him as a farmer because he knew that he needed to work even those perfect muscles that were designed to live forever. He needed to work them. He knew that if you don't use it, what happens? You lose it. So we need to exercise, folks. That's one of the things that lack of exercises causes constipation. Getting your exercise, just talking about the opposite. Okay, if you're going in one direction, it's wrong. Go in the other direction. So if you're not getting exercise, you're constipated. If you're getting the exercise, you can break up the constipation. You can get the bowels to moving again. You can drink more water. You get the bowels to moving again. You can get rest and get the bowels to moving again. Get sunlight. Y'all listen to what I'm saying. Good, deep inspirations of air. All of these things can help the body to do what it needs to do as far as the bowels moving. There's something else that causes it. It's called opioids. That's right. All of these different meds that we take, and y'all listening to me, they actually constipate you. Why? Simply because they're tranquilizers. They're pain meds. Most of them have within them something that causes you not to feel the pain anymore. So most of the meds that you take across the counter and that you're prescribed have painkillers in them. That's why they're so addictive. They're opioids, okay? Antacids, we've already talked about that. ROLAIDs. How do you spell relief? No, that's not how you spell relief. Diuretics, to help you urinate. Again, we're talking about that which could cause constipation. Antihistamines, that are supposed to keep you from feeling the bad problems of sinus problems, to make you think that you're feeling better. Doesn't really get rid of it, drives it back down in the tissues, and the painkiller keeps you from feeling so bad, but it's still there because when it wears down a little bit, it's right back. Nostrils are stopped up again, and you're back in pain again. But they can also do what? Cause constipation. Anticonvulsants, okay? Rolaids is supposed to be one of those to help get down the nausea and so forth, keep you from throwing up. But because it's simply quieting, it's sedating your system so that you don't feel the need to throw up, it's also doing what? It's stopping your bowels. Are you listening to me? All of these opioids, all of these medicines that contain painkiller in them are doing what? They're addicting you. They're slowing everything down. They're keeping you from feeling the pain. And they're also stopping your bowels from moving. Antidepressants. Listen to me, folks. You're taking stuff because you got the anxiety and you need something, but it's also stopping your bowels from moving. I hope you all are hearing what I'm saying. I'm Dr. Franco Taylor here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, WMPR 90.1 on FM. And what we're talking to you this morning is about diseases mama. We're putting it on the carpet. We're talking disease, your mama. And your mama is something. She is constipation, folks. And you got to realize that constipation is really, there are only two diseases. One is indigestion and the other is constipation. And constipation is the mother of all diseases. Anti-arrhythmics. What are those? Arrhythmia. That means the heart's not beating like it's supposed to. So you take these, you got a heart murmur, you know what I'm saying? Irregular heartbeat. So you take these drugs that are supposed to help that. And guess what they do? They constipate you. Why do they constipate you? Mainly because they're opioids. They're painkillers in some way. Anti-diuretics. Are you listening to me? Rolaids is one of those, okay? But they're supposed to keep you from having diarrhea. But what do? They set you up for constipation. Calcium channel block. Folks, I could go on and on and on, but I'm trying to help you to see what's going on out here. You're taking all of these different drugs for all of these different symptoms that you have, and 99% of these drugs are constipating you. Are you listening to me? Are you getting this? We're talking about the right stuff. You need to know this, and it's not an accident. It's purposefully done. Because when you're constipated, all of that filth, all of that waste that should be in the commode is in your system, getting into your tissues, getting into your cells, getting into your ligaments, your tendons, getting into your kidney, getting into your liver. Oh, folks, are you getting what I'm saying? And it's making you sick. It's sitting there causing more rot, putrid, morbid, setting up a breeding ground, a nasty, funky, stinky, stale breeding ground for all sicknesses and diseases. And over a period of time, you actually can succumb to these situations. Diabetes is killing people, folks. One of the top 4 killers today. Okay, high blood pressure is killing folks. People, it's called the silent killer. With arthritis, these things are killing people, and no one's paying attention to the fact that one of the causative factors, one of the main causative factors, is what? Indigestion that leads to constipation, the mother of all disease. She's the mama, and that's what we're talking about now. Disease, we're talking about your mama patient issue, the masses, and it's a thing that nobody wants to talk about. It's sort of a silent thing. Nobody wants to talk about doo-dooing, and not being able to go, but you need to get it out on the table because it's killing you, folks. This mother of all disease, this constipation, is literally the biggest killer in the world. She is one of the 2 diseases, real diseases. Everything else is just a symptom of this. When you're constipated, then you get all these symptoms. You get the indigestion, you get the sinus drainage, you get the heart beginning to pump too fast, the blood pressure going up, the diseases that come about, the infectious diseases, inflammation, all that comes from indigestion, which becomes constipation, which becomes all of the diseases that we suffer from. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do to block that, okay? And another causative factor is taking a lot of these calcium and iron supplements. I mean, basically, you're talking about what would I call that? Iron filings, okay? You're talking about ground up iron from the ground. It's a metal, remember, it's a metal. It's ground up iron filings going into, most of you, if you take iron tablets, do you know how your bowels are real black looking? That's because, when you have bowels black like that, that means there's been some bleeding somewhere. All these iron filings, could they possibly be cutting the tender tissues of your body going through? Just a little food for thought. The calcium is nothing but chalk. This pasty chalk mixed into the food and with the liquids in your body becomes paste that does what? Clogs up your colon even further. I hope y'all are listening to what I'm saying. So what are some of the things that you can do? Well, here's some of the things that cause indigestion. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on WMPR 90.1 FM. And we're talking about disease's mama. We're talking about his mama. I mean, disease, your mama. We're talking about her. And what can we do about it? First of all, if you look at indigestion, it starts when we don't eat enough fiber. We eat a lot of meat, a lot of cheese, a lot of dairy, all those things that block up the bowels, okay? We don't eat enough fiber. So you need to eat live food with every meal. That means you need to have more salads and more fruits with your meals. I'm not saying you're going to die and go to hell because you eat meat, but you're going to be sick. You're going to be constipated. But if you would simply eat larger portions of fruit and salad to go with your meal, every meal for 1 week, if you would make sure that over 50% of your plate is either live fruit or live vegetables with the meal, not later, but with the meal, I promise you, your blood pressure is going to go down, your sugar level is going to go down, your waistline is going to start going down, your energy level is going to start going. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? I promise you, it will happen. 7 days. Before the 7 days is up, you'll start getting relief. How do you spell How do you spell relief? It's not ROLAIDS. In a lot of cases, y'all, it's DOLLARS. Y'all spending all your money up the bottom Rolaids. But actually, relief is called the Bible way. Just eating right. Making sure that you have fiber with every meal. Something else that you do is you don't mix fruits and vegetables at the same meal. We're talking about what starts the body to clogging up. Fruit digests very quickly. It's mostly water. But vegetables in some cases are heavy. Beans and so forth, cabbage, they're heavy, and the body has to secrete acid to break down these heavy vegetables. But those vegetables are in the stomach and they're mixed up with the fruit. When that acid breaking down the heavy vegetables hits the light water-based fruit, it breaks the fruit down even further. And then the fruit becomes an alcohol or an aldehyde. And here you go. Boy, you bloating and you burping and you griping and you flatulence and you shooting stuff out there. And sometimes your breath can feel so bad when this stuff comes back up that you have to blow it this way to keep the person next to you from smelling it. Smell like past gas coming out of your mouth. How can something get that foul, folks? And everybody out there knows what I'm talking about, because all of you have been through it at some time or another. You just didn't think about what was going on. If it's that foul coming out, then it got to be foul inside. And that means indigestion, which is leading to constipation, which is leading to disease. So again, you must eat something live with every meal. You must make sure that you do what? That you don't mix fruits and vegetables at the same meal. And the third one, which is probably the most significant one, is you don't drink liquids with your meals. Look at me carefully, folks. Not because I look so well, but I want you to see something. Pay attention. I've got a fork here, right? I'm going to get a fork full of food, and I'm going to put it in my mouth. I'm going to take about 3 chews. And then what am I going to do? Now I'm an actor. I have to act a little bit. But people actually do that. If you look around the table, you probably do it too. But if you look around the table, you'll see people do this. What are they doing? They're pushing that food down. Why are they pushing it down? Because they didn't take time, first of all, to do what? To chew it. And if you don't chew the food up here, it will not get chewed in your stomach, because your stomach ain't got no teeth. Are you listening to me? We're showing you how you set up indigestion, how indigestion becomes constipation, and constipation becomes disease that you're suffering from. 1, 2, 3. If you want to knock 3 out, let's cut out 1. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Let's work better with 1. 1 is you must have something live at every meal. Number 2, you must not eat fruits and vegetables at the same meal. And number 3, you don't drink liquids with your meals, because they dilute the acid. The acid can't break down the food. If the food doesn't get broken down, where does it go? Reabsorbed, rotted, and putrefied back into your system, back into your tissues, and set you up for disease. So when do you drink your water? You can drink water up to 15 minutes prior to eating your meal. 15 minutes too. What does that do? That gets your digestive tract ready to go. Your hydrochloric acid is ready. You're lubricated. The colon and the intestines are lubricated and ready to do their job, to push this food through, to break this food down, to assimilate this food, to give you energy, to give you thought pattern, to give you repair, to build your immune system, to make your bones strong. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. So if you do it right, it works. So you drink your liquids 15 minutes before your meal and 45 minutes to an hour after your meal, but not during the meal. These little simple things can help you to knock out diseases, mama. And who is his mama? Constipation. We're talking about knocking out constipation, the mother of all disease. So again, those are some things that you can do. Now, you can get your exercise. When you walk, what do? You actually cause the stomach muscles to move. You cause peristaltic motion in your colon, then your small intestines. And so they start moving, then they start pushing the bowel through the way it was designed to. Have you noticed that people laying in a bed in the hospital or at home very seldom have bowel movements? Because they're not getting any what? They're not getting any exercise. So exercise is a crucial part of keeping the mother of disease away from your door. That's right. You want to knock disease's mama right upside the head by eating enough fiber, getting enough rest, and then getting some exercise. So you need rest, but you can't rest all the time. You got to get that person up. If you can just, if they're bedridden, if you can take their legs and exercise them and push those knees upwards towards their stomach, okay, to cause them to have a little motion in there, a little pressure in there to help those bowels to move. We're talking about exercise, important in helping the bowels to move. Getting sunlight, that's important. It helps with vitamin D and calcium, those things that are necessary in the body for all the processes, including going to the bathroom. So again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on 90.1 FM on your radio dial, WMPR, with the Right Stuff Helps program. So now, what is one of the other things you can do? You can eat fiber. We're saying that. Or you can call me, Dr. Franco Taylor. You can call us here at Right Stuff Health and Wellness Center. Our number is 901. Okay, there we go. Keep hitting the mute button, folks. I am so sorry. Accidentally hit the mute button again. But the bottom line is you can call us here at Right Stuff Health and Wellness Center. That's 901-425-2273. And talk to us about Clean Sweep Colon Broom. It's the first fiber, the first product that God blessed me to design 38 years ago. How many did I say? 38 years ago. That's almost 2 decades ago, for a long time. We've had people that have been using this formula for a couple of decades. That's right. And everyone that uses it just goes crazy about it. Plus something else too. I want to tell you about something we're doing before we close out tonight. We're going to be at the Acceleration Church in Cordova, Collierville, and we'll give you that address. It is 449 West Highway 72, 449 West Highway 72 in Collierville. Tonight, 6:30, tomorrow night, 6:30 will be the last 2 nights of a health revival that we're doing, talking about all these things. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the answer, the Bible way answer to cancer. Did you hear what I said? There is an answer to cancer. But right now, we're talking about the Clean Sweep Colon Broom. What it does is it's basically fiber. That's what we're saying. That's what these foods are. These vegetables and fruits and nuts and grains are basically fiber. That's why animals, when you see their bowels move, tail goes up, stuff comes out, and they keep moving. But you don't see, they don't have to use toilet tissue because you never see anything smeared on the back of a horse or a cow. Why? Because they eat the way God designed for them to eat in the beginning. They eat basically fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. They find a watermelon, they'll eat it. If they find a fig or a grape or on a vine, or if they find an apple hanging on a tree, they'll eat it. But mainly they eat oats and wheat, soybeans. In other words, they eat green things. And that's why they're so healthy, because there's plenty of everything you need in this plant-based diet. The WHO, the Cancer Society, the Diabetes Foundation, the Cardiovascular Association, they all say that if you'd eat a plant-based diet, that all those diseases would basically do what? Disappear. So that is exactly what our Clean Sweep Colon Broom is. Almost 40 years it's been in existence. 40 years or so people have been using it, and it has in it basic fibers. It's got psyllium seed husk in it. It's got oat straw in it. Okay, it's got slippery elm in it, which are various types of fibers designed to bulk up the bowels and to help the bowels move nice and smooth, but very efficiently through the body without the pain. We added anise, fennel, and ginger to do what? Excuse me, throat's getting a little dry. To do what? To help the body have the movement without the pain, without the bloating, without the flatulence, without the griping. A nice, smooth move without all the difficulties and discomforts that most of you are having trying to use the bathroom. And again, it'll give you 2 to 3 good movements, bulky movements, but very smooth movement. You'll be able to go in there, sit out, and be out of there in less than a minute. You can actually have a bowel movement as fast as you can urinate, folks. We're telling you what it is all about. I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me with the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial. And we're talking about the mama of all disease. We're talking about disease. And yes, disease. We're talking about your mama today. We're talking about your mama. We're talking about constipation and what you can do to move around constipation. You can begin to eat a plant-based diet. You can begin to drink half of your body weight in ounces of distilled water. every day to help bulk up the bowels, to help them move, to help your digestive tract have enough liquid in it to secrete the necessary enzymes, to secrete the necessary hydrochloric acid that it needs to secrete so that it can help to break these foods down and make them pass through the body and still be bulked up enough for the waste or the residue to come on out without problems. Are you listening to me? And again, until you get that going, you can get this Clean Sweep Colon Broom. You can call us up at 901-425-2273. You can go online. You can go to www.rightstuffhealth.com and you can actually get our products. You can get the Clean Sweep Colon Broom online by going to www.rightstuffhealth.com, www.rightstuffhealth.com. And our other formulas are there too, the ones that have the nanotechnology for the heart, the ones there to help boost and build the immune system, the one for all of the minerals that are needed, they're all there. The Belage is for your immune system and restoring the organs of the body. The Quinui works with your heart and with your pancreas so that your body can break down and restore the sugar level and the heart level to the right balance. Are you listening to me? And then there's the inner 7. That's all the minerals that the body needs from the Okinawa Ocean, the bottom of the sea there. So again, you can call us up 901-425-2273, or you can go to our website, which is www.rightstuffhealth.com, and you can go and get what you need. You can get this Clean Sweep Colon Broom. Is where you need to start if you're going to get rid of all this waste. If you're going to start a diet plan, if you're going to start if you want to get healthy, it starts by cleaning out first. Again, you wouldn't wax your car until you washed it first. You wouldn't wax your floor until you washed it first. So you don't want to start putting good things in your body until you clean out all that residue of waste that's been packed in you for a long, long time. And that is our colon broom. And it is, again, Clean Sweep Colon Broom. You can get it online, www.rightstuffhealth.com, or you can call us at 901-425-2273. We've been talking about disease. That's right, disease. We're talking about your mama, constipation, something that no one even pays attention to. We laugh at it, we make jokes about it, but nobody ever really looks to see what it takes to get rid of it. Why we go and spend millions and billions of dollars on antacids and various types of laxatives when all we got to do is learn how to eat better. Since you don't know, give us a call. Have a consultation. Call me at 901-425-2273. Set up a telephone consultation, and we'll show you how to turn all of your concerns around at home. We'll teach you what to do to work with God's body. And God's body was designed to heal itself. That's what we're willing to do for you, but you got to call us. I can't do it if you don't call me. 901-425-2273. If you don't want to talk, you just want to email me, you can email me at info@rightstuffhealth.com. That's info@rightstuffhealth.com. So we can get you started on a program to turn whatever it is around. Whether you need to learn how to eat better, you want to lose weight, gain weight, you got high blood, you got diabetes, cancer, even full-blown AIDS. And in the last year and a half, we've worked with maybe 23 families with COVID, even in our own family. And we help them to turn their body around, to get the immune system built up to where they actually got rid of the COVID virus. So again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You've been here with me for the last hour on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. That's right. And we're here every Tuesday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock on this station. So as I always say, it's a pleasing pleasure being here with you today. We talked about diseases, mama, and we told you things you could do to get her under control. That's constipation. So till next week, same time, same station. This is Dr. Franco saying, you must use the right stuff. I love you, and may God bless.